Sup guys, Paddy here and welcome back for some Red Dead Redemption main game. In the last session we did everything that happens at the start of the game up to the Marshal's second or third quest, which involved killing the Bollard twins gang thing in the Pikes Basin. And I remembered that the Pikes Basin is right near the McFarlane Ranch, which means one, saving time, and two, that we can do one of Bonnie's quests. So I thought, there's a bunch of outlaws. I'm gonna deal with the yellow. I'm just gonna do it in my own way. Did I just kill one of the civilians yet? Well, that can happen. just as a heads up.
What have we got here?
So I guess this was bothered. Sorry about that. Yeah, the whole honor thing. Who did I kill? Is there someone I killed?
Well, hello there.
If it was, I'm sorry, dude. Yeah. Well, that's the hard roads these days. See what Bonnie's got for us. Woman and cattle. Bonnie's like 4th or 5th quest.
Mr. Marston, I've been hearing about your plans.
Have you, Miss McFarlane?
Yes, from Lee Johnson, to settle here and build a life for yourself.
I'm afraid those aren't my plans. See, I already have a life. Well, I had one, and I'm trying to reclaim it. Or maybe what you could say is that I had two, and I'm trying to end one of them so the other can survive.
You do so love to talk in riddles, Mr. Marston. Do you do that, I wonder, as a substitute for having anything interesting to say?
Probably, Miss McFarlane.
Oh, call me Bonnie, you fool. Call me Bonnie.
Miss McFarlane, I'm married. I have a son. I had a daughter, but she died. Years before that, I rode in a gang. We robbed banks, trains, held people ransom. We killed people we didn't like. Bill Williamson was in that gang. Now, if I don't capture my former brother in arms, great harm will befall my family. Now, I don't suppose any of this is very interesting to you, but I hope it explains why I wasn't so eager to talk about it.
No, I do understand. I had no idea. You poor man.
Even in this new country, memories don't really fade. My father was an illiterate Scot born on a boat into New York. He never saw his homeland, but to hear him talk about it, you'd imagine he only ever ate haggis and wore a kilt. And he hated the English for what they had done to his great-grandparents that he'd never met. People don't forget. Nothing gets forgiven.
That's true, especially when it comes to money. And you know, even now, after all his labors, my father's debts are still terrible. I worry every day about us losing the ranch. It would kill him.
My father died when I was 8 years old. His eyes were, well, let's just say he was blinded in a bar fight south of Chicago. My mother died during childbirth. She was a prostitute, and he was her, well, I don't know what he was. So I was sent off to an orphanage and ran away and fell in with a gang.
My word. What a difficult life you've lived.
The leader of the gang taught me how to read, taught me how to see all that was good in the world. He was a great man in a way.
But you killed people.
Sure. And I've suffered for it. And that's the life I left. I tried to leave. Said too much, Bonnie. I'm an uneducated killer, sent here to do all I can do well. Kill a man in cold blood so that another man may do his part to cut crime in an area, and a rich man can be elected governor on the back of these promises.
Civilization is a truly beautiful thing, Mr. Marston. Listen, can you help me?
Well, I can try. What do you need, money?
No, nothing so complicated. I need an extra hand to take out the herd to pasture.
Sure. Point me in the right direction.
Okay. So that's pretty much like the story summed up. I didn't remember that piece of dialogue, but that's quite important actually. That's pretty much the story.
Right. Are you ready to learn how to herd some cows?
Yeah, sure.
Let's go.
As you can see, it is quite deep. This character is quite complex.
Thank you for telling me all that back there. It must have been hard for you.
Hope you understand now why I've been playing my cards somewhat close to my chest.
I didn't know you had a wife and child. Then again, I don't think I ever asked. They're lucky to have a man like you.
I ain't so sure about that, but thank you.
I mean, I didn't even know about his daughter. I can't say that
How
word.
are you, Miss McFarland?
I'm Welsh and I'm trying to play up a voice. Daughter. There we go, another word. See, I didn't even know about that, and I played this game like 3 times.
That should start them moving in the right direction.
So it is quite a complex story, and I guess there is a lot to it. But I do feel like
Whoa there.
and I feel they do tell it well. I think it's an interesting bit of storytelling.
Come on.
But I think one thing that might be lacking, and again, I'm going through this game for the first time in a long time.
Come on, easy up now.
So maybe I'm wrong, maybe we'll see something different, but I don't remember there being any development in terms of character with really anyone. And some of you may be a little bit disagreeing when it comes to it, because we've just heard something quite deep that we didn't know before, but it's not development of character for us to learn more about his family. It's just it's development of story. And I don't remember there being really any development of character here, which to be fair, you know, it's a very stubborn civilization at this period of time, and it's also, you're dealing with characters that are quite old and quite impersonal to you. I'll talk about this a little bit more because I think there's dialogue coming up.
Yeah, keep going, Mr. Marston.
Good. Now we need to move the entire herd out to the far pasture for grazing.
I remember absolutely despising this.
Squeeze back and forth behind them. Keep them nice and tight.
Move on, move on. Forward.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, what was I even talking about?
Whoa.
Yeah, we're dealing with characters that are quite old and impersonal. Like, John's like mid-30s, I would say. And the rest of the characters really you meet are quite a little bit older than that, I would say. And you don't see much of development. You see a lot of sides to his character, especially when dealing with different characters. But you don't see much of a development to it. And I think I'll talk about it a bit more in a second.
You're not bad with the herd. Ranching might be your true calling, Mr. Marston. Either that, or you were a cow in a past life.
Thank you, Miss McFarland.
I'll see you later. I have work to do back at the ranch.
Really, that's it? I'll go see West Dickens now.
Come on.
So here, I'm gonna talk. I have stuff to talk about already in terms of that character development thing that I can talk about during this traveling scene. By the way, this is the same session, so keep that in mind. I think, you know, one thing I wanted to make a comparison to is Fallout, the 2 Bethesda Fallout games. And you may be saying, you know, you may be thinking maybe that I like those games a lot, and there wasn't and that character can be as old as you like, actually, and that character might be old and stubborn, perhaps, but no, I don't even know who you are, but I don't care. But in terms of Fallout, it is personal because it's you, and if the character doesn't develop, you do, and the way you look at things develops, and I think that adds character development to a role-playing game. But in terms of a game like this, where you have a preset character in this is a very complex character. I'm not complaining about the character at all. This character is one of the best in video game history, I would argue. He is one of the best characters I have ever seen in the modern video game industry, in terms of his complexity and his attitude. It's very, very enjoyable, and yeah, it's very enjoyable, and it definitely adds to the game. I rather this character than other characters in the Rockstar universe, because they don't seem to be able to do modern well, probably because we know what modern is, and the people that they design in the modern setting, especially Nico, bloody they're just so pretentious, and they're so I don't like the characters they put in modern settings, but in terms of this character, he's very interesting, very very complex, and he's got a lot to him, and he also, you know, his voice actor, I think, goes a long way. I think it's a very, very good voice, and it definitely fits the character. But even without the voice, he's just one of the best. Oh, didn't expect to be this close. He's one of the best characters that I've seen in a while. But you just don't get to see the development of it. It's just my opinion on character development in the game.